Oh, horse shit. Get up, please. You stay away. Stay away.
When I started working with John, I said, it's like a trade wind from the islands. I just started feeling clean again. I missed working that way so long. So what I mean is that, yes, I missed carrying the character with me day in and day out, morning, noon, and night, thinking what I could do with it, how I could. That's work. That's where your life is full. And with John, your life was full.
John was a true original, and he really wanted to strip you of everything that you knew. He wanted to strip you of your technique. He wanted to strip you of your ideas as to what is dramatic, fast and slow, loud and soft.
No matter what position you were in, John was always the one to remind you that you were just full of it. You were laced with convention, and he would do whatever it took to break you out of it.
And I often wondered why it is that somebody as articulate as John would be so confusing when he would tell you about what you were doing.
There's one man against the world. There's three guys against the world. And the minute they join the world, you know, that's fine. You'll join it, but you want what you want, when you want it. So you're there right in the middle of all this going on. It's terrific.
John was not a complicated person in his dialogue. And he'd be talking, and he used the word thingalized. Now, when you move the thing, remember the thing we talked about last night? I want you to have more of that inner thing go on that you know?
John never gave direction. Direct. He would never say, sit there. He would say, now listen, if, I don't know, you came in, you're tired, and you're hungry. He wants you to sit there, you understand? That's what he said. But he said, and Peter would turn to me, he said, do you understand what this man is saying? I said, yeah, he wants you to sit there. He said, well, if he wants me to sit there, why doesn't he tell me to sit there? I said, well, I don't know, Peter. Ask him why he doesn't tell you to sit there. He might tell you in about another half hour why he doesn't tell you to sit there. We had a lot of fun. A lot of fun.
He was capable of telling you, but he didn't want to because he was afraid of the cliches, and he wanted you to respond in some way that was you. I became increasingly more comfortable with it. And then in the end, I became a great, great admirer of it. But I didn't embrace it right away. No. Took a little time. But I'm slow.
Ready, action!
During the actual filming, I'm not really listening to dialogue. I'm watching to see if the actors are communicating something and expressing something. I'm just watching a conversation. You're not aware of exactly what people are saying. You are aware of what they are intending and what kind of feeling is going on in that scene.
John was not a person who gave you a lot of direction. Even if you asked sometimes, he would say, I wrote this, and I gave it to you, and now it belongs to you, and you know more about this character than I know or anybody else in the world knows.
There's no way that you can play this scene wrong. That you, Jenny Rennick, can play this scene wrong, except by rushing it and not listening and not feeling the pressure that surrounds you.
He would just say, let's rehearse, and we would do that for a couple of weeks before we'd start shooting. Or even during the shooting, we'd break off and rehearse certain scenes until the actors became comfortable in what they were doing.
So when we first started doing this, we had no chance if we started right on the set. But now, we know what our pitfalls are and we know what we are. And we'd be a lot better off.
Right.
And we know what we individually do wrong without anybody having to tell. We know when we're pushing too hard and when we're going too hard.
Right.
This generated a kind of competition between the actors and really got them interested, not only in their characters, but what the story was. And by that, I mean by what was happening at the moment. Because something would develop that would be not in the script. And quite often, we'd take that on a trip.
One of the reasons we've been trying to develop that game aspect, then, is every time we get in trouble, we have a real excuse to get in and enjoy ourselves.
It's a feeling of fearlessness on the set. I mean, you have a director who's fearless. That means he's not in a hurry. John was more interested in the surprise moment than he was in the planned moment.
There are things done not only by us, but by extras who come in just to be background, and all of a sudden, John is working with them, and they give performances that'll stun you. Better than any actor could. They're free of all pre-planning that actors do, kind of setting themselves.
Oh, Doc.
No,
Yeah, I'm terrible.
He wanted you off balance. He didn't want you on 2 feet knowing what you were doing.
Sometimes you feel that he invited a bunch of actors to dinner, and, you know, halfway through the second bottle of wine said action, and there was the camera, and they said, oh, what the fuck, and they just kept going.
You were less aware of the camera in John's pictures than in any other pictures I'd ever been in. He wanted it that way. And I was less aware of the director. I didn't know where he was.